Welcome, everybody.
Hey, hey. Good boy, Tucker.
Work smarter where you want.
This is learning at its most fun.
You're most likely familiar with the Today page because it's the first page that appears when you log into your Redtail CRM. Looks a little something like this. If it's not the first page that you log into when you log into Redtail, you probably need to set it under your preferences. If you go to your name and choose preferences, you can choose which page you want to set as your default login screen. So if you prefer to go to your calendar first, great, set it for your calendar. I personally really like the Today page, and so I like to set it for the Today page. And that means anytime that I log into Redtail, it's going to take me to the Today page. Additionally, if I go to any other tab within Redtail CRM, I'll be able to navigate back to the Today page by just clicking on the Redtail CRM logo here in the top left corner. So that's how we get to the Today page. Let's talk about what it has to offer. So the first thing I'm going to cover is these 4 big data icons here across the top. Let's start first with the AUM. So a lot of people wonder where this number comes from. It's the cumulative total of all of the different assets that you have in your database. So for example, here, if we click in to AUM here, we can see that in this database, we have 274 open accounts. So here they are, lots and lots and lots of accounts. And if we were to take and add together all the balances for all of these accounts, we would come up with this large number here, which is our AUM. Now, we can also see assets that we might have listed as held away. That means they are open accounts, but they've been tagged with the tag held away, which means they don't calculate towards the AUM total. So all of these assets here are assets that my clients hold elsewhere. They're not assets that I actively manage. Instead, they held them at a separate source, but I still have them in my Redtail database, so that way I'm aware of them. And then what Redtail will do is it will take the number of contacts that you have that have accounts and divide it by this number. So this number divided by the amount of contacts you have that have accounts will give you your average portfolio size. So a good little metric that you can use as part of your marketing materials as far as, how much does your average client have in their portfolio. Below that, we could also see a breakdown of accounts by type. So here is just a little circle graph that's going to show us all the different accounts. So we can see some of the most popular ones here. Looks like individual life, other mutual funds, or some popular account types that our clients hold. And then, of course, if I want to see a different version of that list, I can click this option here. And it's going to go ahead and list the account type plus the number of accounts that are typed. Another important thing you should know about the AUM section, or the big data icon for assets under management, is this unlinked account section. This is very important if you choose to subscribe to an account feed with Redtail CRM. So you might have a portfolio management software like Allbridge, Orion, SEI, Morningstar, those just to name a few. But there are options within Redtail to basically have your portfolio management software, wherever that might be, feed information to Redtail on a nightly basis and update the accounts accordingly after the day's trading. So what this section here does is it's basically like a landing ground for us. So when that first initial link happens, they come to, again, this unlinked account section. And from there, it is up to us to link the contacts to link the accounts to the appropriate contacts. Now, it's not as tedious as going through all 2,000 of these accounts and looking up the account number and who that contact is for and linking them. Instead, what Redtail can do is it can match the tax ID number on the account with the tax ID number that is on the contact record. So for example, if we were to take this tax ID number here and we were to copy it and search for it, we would be able to find that this tax ID number is associated with Boba Fett. And so if I were to go to my Today page, choose AUM, choose Unlinked Accounts and choose Run Auto Link, Redtail is going to auto-link these two accounts to Boba Fett's record because the tax ID number on the account matches the tax ID number on the contact record. And so just by clicking this Run Auto Link, Redtail will link the accounts accordingly. Now, sometimes there's instances where the tax ID number on the contact record does not match with a tax ID number on the account. And in that case, we have the option to manually link accounts if we need it. So for example, let's say that this tax ID number was actually for a trust and we wanted it to link it to the actual contact. And so Redtail wasn't able to identify a match. That's why you don't see this red star here. We can choose to link to contact and just go ahead and type in the contact that this is for. So I'll go ahead and link this to Fred Investor and link account to contact. And that's going to take that account and the associated feed with it and link that account to Fred. And again, if you don't see that little red star here, that means that Redtail has not identified a tax ID number. So the auto link will not auto link the accounts. But in this case, we identified that this tax ID number matches with Boba Fett, and that's why that little red star is there. Okay, so if you need more help working with unlinked accounts, feel free to visit our help desk and check out a section on unlinked accounts. All right, let's head back to the today page. The next big data icon here is the Reminders tab. And the Reminders tab is reminders that we have set in our database to notify us about maybe certain milestones or events happening in our clients' lives. So for example, the birthdays. Here is a list of birthdays happening in my database. It's going to tell me who the contact is and how old they're going to be turning. I could also filter my reminder page for other reminders as well. For example, things like maybe client review reminders. And this is going to give me a list of all of the upcoming client reviews that I have in my database. Now, as you can see here, I have quite a few client reviews and quite a few birthdays to scan through. If I want to narrow down this list or even expand it, what I can do is I can go to my name here in the top right corner, choose preferences, and come on down here to dashboard reminders. In this case, just like we did with the today page, we have the ability to set the default reminder, meaning when we go to click on that reminder button, which view is it going to take us to? And then also here again, we have the ability to set how far in advance or how past due do we want to view client reviews and birthdays. So for example, if I only want to see my birthdays 15 days in advance, I would just narrow down that list and it's only going to show me birthday reminders that are coming in the next 15 days. Same thing with client review reminders. I like to see 30 days in advance and also 7 days past due. And again, that's how we narrow the parameters for the reminders tab. So now if we go to our today page and we click on reminders, we have the ability now to see reminders first before heading to our birthdays. And then also you'll see that my birthday list has significantly narrowed down. I'm not seeing the entire month. I'm only just seeing the next 15 days. So you might be wondering where these reminders come from. They are actually auto-generated based off of certain fields that you have added in Redtail. So for example, if you are looking for the client review section, this comes from the Know Your Client section of the contact record. So again, just to show you where that is, if we open up a contact record here, let's say, for example, Mary, and we open up the Know Your Client section, this reminder is set based off of her first review date. Likewise, her birthday reminder is going to be set off of her date of birth. So we'd be getting a reminder for Mary in October because that's when her birthday is. And then of course, we always have the option to disable the date of birth reminder if we need to by just clicking this checkbox here. So for example, if we have a contact that doesn't want to be reached out to on their birthday, or maybe we have a deceased contact that we no longer want to see a birthday reminder for, then we can go always just choose to uncheck this box and we no longer will receive those birthday reminders. All right, let's keep moving along on the today page. Next up, we have the timeline. Now, the timeline I always say is good for managerial oversight. It allows for you to see all the different additions, updates, deletions, or changes happening in your database. So here you can see that I've updated some contacts, I've added some accounts. Blue indicates update, green indicates add. If I were to delete anything, you would see it in red. And of course, if I want to filter for a certain timeline event, I could always go to the filter option here and choose specifically what I want to see on my calendar. So if I want to see looking for specifically an activity, I can filter for just activities. And here you can see me adding and updating some activities. Okay, let's continue moving along the today page. Next up, we have workflow tasks. So workflow tasks. What this page here does is it will pull all of the active workflow tasks that are assigned specifically to your username. So if we were to go through these 9 workflows here, and we were to extract all of the workflow tasks that are actively assigned to Tucker, that's what's going to show up here on the today page. So what's cool about this is I don't have to worry about missing any workflow tasks, right? I don't have to go through the workflows here and expand the menus and try to find, which workflows are we on and what step we're in and which of that task and that step is assigned to me. Instead, I can see a full view by just clicking on active workflow tasks. And again, these are all the workflow tasks that are assigned specifically to my login. So they're waiting for me to be completed. My workflow tasks. All right, let's keep moving along. Next up is things to do today. This serves as your checklist for the day. It's your to-do list of all the items that you need to get done today. And so it pulls directly from your calendar. As you can see here, I have about 5 items on my things to do today page. And if I were to go to my calendar, I would be able to locate 5 items on my things to do today section. So for Thursday, note that it doesn't show me yesterday's, it doesn't show me tomorrow's, it's only focused on the items that I have on my calendar for today. Now, if I wanted to see some of the items that I was supposed to do yesterday that I didn't quite complete yet, I can always click on this past due button here to view items, again, that might have happened in the past, but I didn't quite put them into completed status. So from this page here, I can go ahead and review. So for example, Steve Rogers, we had our client review back on the 15th. Oh, that's right, I did that. I just didn't mark it as complete. And so what I can do here is just choose the complete option. And then of course I had that follow-up call to Bill Murray. That's right, I totally forgot to call Bill. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna roll that over. And what that does is it's going to roll it over to the current start date and end date of today. So that means if I were to go to my today page now, we would see that I have that follow-up call on my agenda here to call Bill. Another option you have with past due is the ability to reschedule. So say, for example, this client review here for Corey, we didn't quite get to it on the 21st. In fact, he rescheduled it for February. So what I'm going to do here is I can actually choose the reschedule option, and rather rolling it over to today, I can go ahead and push it out to sometime in the future and reschedule that client review for Corey. And then of course you can do all of these items in bulk if you needed to. So for example, if I already gave a quarterly call to Monica and I cut a check to Margaret and I called Boba, well, at this point now, I can choose activity options and complete, and that's going to take care of all 3 of those items in bulk. So if you're looking for a fast way to clean up your data here in past due, just go ahead and check the boxes here and use activity options to do those items in bulk. I'll mention one more here. You also have the ability to reassign items as well. So for example, this client review with Bruce, we didn't quite get to it, and I'm just swamped this week. I'm not gonna be able to meet with Bruce in a timely manner. So what I could do is I can actually reassign this to another user. So for example, if I wanted to give that to Jack to take care of, I can reassign it, and that's going to change. That's going to take me off the activity and put it on Jack's calendar to complete. All right, back to that today page. We also have the option to go to upcoming. So this is going to allow me to see what my calendar has in advance. So I can come here and filter the dates. Right now I'm showing the next 30 days. So again, a checklist of items for all the things I need to get done in the next 30 days. And if I want to narrow that down, I could always go to filter dates here. And let's just look at this week. And there we go. We're just looking at the items that are remaining for this week. Or I could even look further out. Let's go to 6 months. And it's going to show me all the activities for the next 6 months. Or maybe I have somewhere in between. Like maybe I want to see a custom range. Well, I can choose how far in the future I want to see. So I want to see through the month of February. From now until through the month of February, here are all of the items on my calendar from now through the month of February. So again, today page, you have your activities that are due today. You had your activities that were due yesterday or any other time in the past. And then you also have your upcoming, which will allow for you to see your future calendar. And then of course, if we ever need to add anything, we also have a blue add activity button here, which will launch our create activity screen, and we can go ahead and add to our things to do today. Also, if you need to reschedule or complete anything on your things to do today, you can do that as well. So for example, here, let's say I completed making this trade for Monica. I can mark this as completed, and it's going to remove it from my things to do today. And so that way I can focus on the other items. Or maybe it's going to get towards the end of the day and I need to reschedule some things. I can always choose to check the items I want to reschedule. And let's go ahead and reschedule those for tomorrow. So again, use this things to do today section as kind of your central hub for your daily checklist. It's what you have to get done that day. And very similar to things to do today is workflow tasks to do today. So again, things to do today is going to pull from the calendar. It's all about activities. Workflow tasks to do today is all about workflows, and they're going to pull from my active workflows and my workflow section here. Now, right now my list is blank, and let's investigate why, because I have 11 active workflow tasks. So why are none of them showing on my workflow tasks to do today section? If I open it up here, I can see a full list of my active workflow tasks. And if I look here on the right side, I have some workflow tasks, but none of them are due specifically today. I have some in the past, I have some in the future, but none of them fall on the day for today. And so if I need to, I can always choose to edit these tasks here and reset my due date. So I'm going to set this one for today. And let's do one more. This preparing for the review meeting for Bruce. I'm going to set that for today as well. Oops, I guess I already did that one. Let's do one in the future. I'm going to get ahead of the game here, and I'm going to gather the paperwork for Bruce's future client review here by editing the task and moving it to today. Okay, and so by doing that, now I have 2 items that fall on today, the 28th. And so if I go to my today page, I'll be able to see those on my workflow task to do today section. And then of course, if you do see them blank, you also have this little link here, which will take you to, you guessed it, your workflow task to do today section. So my workflow tasks can be accessed by either clicking on this icon here or just clicking on this little link right here. And then of course, when I want to complete a workflow task, I can hit complete, and that's going to remove it from my workflow task today, just like it did with things to do today. All right, we're going to keep moving down here. Next up, we have team notices. And what team notices is just basically a rotating message board that I can send out to the users of the database. So here are some inspirational quotes or maybe some inter-office announcements that we're going to go ahead and add. And of course, if you want to add to this list, you can always go to your name here in the top corner, choose manage your account, and then choose the third option here, which is manage team notices. So here are all of our active team notices. And if we want to go ahead and add a new one, we just click the new option here. And I'm going to go ahead and create a team notice. I want my team to know that my birthday is on Monday. And so I'm going to make sure that they're all aware that it is my special day on Monday and they need to be extra nice to me. And so I'm going to go ahead and give it a title. We'll call this Birthday Alert. And I'm going to give my team a message. Dear team, Monday, February 1st is my birthday. Please not give me any additional work. And I don't want to sound too harsh, so I'm going to add a little emoji in there too. There we go. You could also, if you wanted to, add in links to certain resources or websites, or even a photo too. So if you had an image that you wanted to add, you can also choose this image icon and add it to your team notice board. And there we go. So now everybody who views the team notices will know that Monday is my birthday and they should avoid giving me any additional work. All right, heading back to the Today page. On the topic of birthdays, we also have today's birthdays and today's reviews. And what this does here is it just basically takes the birthdays and the reviews that happen to be today and pulls them out of the reminder section. So that way, just in case you forget to, click into that box here and check out your reviews and your birthdays for the day, Redtail's got your back. It's going to put it right on the Today page. And so that way you can access it easily. All right, and then finishing out here, we have two more sections, and these are for our voice dictation integrations, okay? So there's two of them. There's mobile assistant, and there's also copy talk messages. And what these are is if you subscribe to either of these services, when you create a voice dictation using those services, so for those of you who aren't familiar, how it works is when you have, like, for example, a client meeting and you'd rather talk rather than type out your notes, you can open up a mobile app or dial into a phone number and basically transcribe your notes via audio. And then a transcriptionist, a human transcriptionist, will go ahead and play back that recording and type out that message for you. So as you can see here, we have lots and lots of messages. Now, over time, the integrations on these have improved. And you can actually have it so it links directly to the Redtail contact. But in the case of mobile assistant or copy talk not being able to identify what contact this note was for, it's going to go ahead and put it here as kind of a landing page. And then from here, after we see the note, we can go ahead and choose this action arrow here to add it as a note, an activity, or an opportunity. Okay, if you don't see either of these two options, it's likely that you don't have the integrations turned on. Or if you do see these and you wish not to, you can always turn them off. Let me show you how. We're going to go to your name here in the top corner and choose Manage Your Integrations. So under this menu here, we have the ability to either turn on or off integration. So for example, if I no longer wanted to see Copy Talk or Mobile Assistant on my Today page because I choose not to use their services, I can go ahead and just toggle this off. And we'll come on down here to Mobile Assistant as well and turn those off. And then my Today page will be updated. So now it ends here. No more Mobile Assistant messages, no more Copy Talk messages. All right, so that takes care of the first page of the Today page. We still have some more tabs to get through. And again, some of these are actually going to be the same. So for example, this Accounts tab here, does this page look familiar to you? It should, because that's the same page that we actually link to when we click on the AUM button. So there's basically two ways to get to this page here. You can either choose the AUM option or you can choose the account button. Either way, you're going to get to the accounts dashboard where you can manage unlinked accounts or view your AUM or see a breakdown of your accounts by type. That is also true for reminders as well. So for example, if I'm on the Today page, I can click on Reminders And that's going to take me to the reminders tab. Or again, if I'm on the today page and I click on reminders, it's going to take me to this page here. So we're going to skip over those two since we've already covered them. And we're going to go next to activities. And again, same situation here. This page is probably going to look familiar to you. And this is because it's your activity dashboard. And so it's the same page as going and clicking on this upcoming button here. So I click on upcoming, again, same page here. What's cool about the activity dashboard is it will actually remember your last filtered dates. So for example here, if I choose a custom range, like for example, when we did that now until the end of February and apply that custom range, if I click away and come back to that activities tab, my browser is actually going to remember that that's what I had it set to and leave it as such. So if there's like a certain range, or even if there's maybe even like a certain employee that you want to monitor or keep tabs on, you can set up your today page to view their items. And again, your browser is going to remember each time you come back to this page that these were the settings that you had set. All right. Moving on, one more to the right here, we got our emails next. Emails is where we can go and we can actually see the full scope of all of the emails being archived into our database in the last 7 days. So this is specifically for those who choose to host their email with Redtail or have set up Redtail email archiving. If you're interested in Redtail email archiving, you can contact our support team or our sales team by dialing 800-206-5030. And just to recap, what exactly does that do? It takes any emails that you're either sending to your clients or they're sending to you, and it archives them to your Redtail CRM. So that way, there's no more hunting through perhaps your Outlook inbox trying to find all those last emails that you sent to the client. It's all in one centralized place, and that is Redtail CRM. So again, this email tab here is just to allow you to see universally all of the emails that have been archived in the certain amount of time range. And again, I can filter through these for a certain domain name, maybe a certain contact or subject to find the email that I'm looking for. Once I find them, I can go ahead and click and open them. Here is the email that I just received. Go ahead and read it. I can also, if there's any attachments associated with that, like you can see this paperclip icon, I can open and view any attachments to that email as well. So not only does the email save, but also the attachments associated with the email. All right, let's go one more to the right here. We're gonna go to contacts. And the contacts dashboard here is just a kind of a fun, how do I say this? It's just fun data to see at a glance. So these are some fun charts that you can go and see, how many active clients do we have in comparison to maybe our prospects? So right now we have 325 clients and 50 prospects, or a breakdown of contacts by category. So right now I have 87 AAA contacts, but or I guess I have 165 AA and 75 single A. So kind of a breakdown of my different tiers of service and what percentage that they make up in my database. How about contact source? I can see where are my contacts coming from. So most commonly, they're coming from referrals. About 47.2% come from referrals. And let's see, 6% come from seminars, 10% come from center of influence, 13% come from my website. And so again, just some fun data that you could help make you decisions about, how you're going to market or how you're going to set up, how many clients that you have and what service level you're going to offer them. And then finally, here's a fun one. It's your contacts by age distribution. So if you're ever wondering what age range, do I service more boomers versus millennials versus Gen Zers, you could see a breakdown here on contact age distribution. So again, just some fun data for you to explore and understand kind of the age breakdown of your contacts. Moving on, one more to the right here. Next, we have market news. Market news is where we can go and see the market as it's changing. And so these are getting updated with new news sources coming in. So things like PR Newswire, Seeking Alpha, Access Wire, these are all credible news sources that are popular in the financial advisor industry. And so you can go ahead and check those out. You can also set up your market watch list here. And this will help you to see, maybe some securities that you might recommend to your clients often and keep tabs on those. And again, if we want to edit this, we can always just edit our watch list here and choose to update what symbols we want to see. So for example, one that I know has been in the news quite a bit today is GameStop. So if we wanted to add GameStop to this market watch list here, we can go ahead and update our market watch list. And there we go. We can go ahead and see what GameStop's up to at the current time. So your market watch list can be a fun way in your CRM, not having to keep, another tab open with your news. You can have it all in one place under the market news tab. All right, 2 more to go. Next up, we have notes. Notes is where we go to see all of the recently added notes and also a breakdown, again, some fun statistics around notes by user and notes by year. So this page here I see can serve 2 purposes. The first is it helps me to monitor notes that are coming into my database. So if I need to, let's say, for example, I'm the compliance, designated compliance person in my office, and I want to make sure that when we're getting notes entered into our database that we are putting in, enough detail, that maybe we're putting in the appropriate category, that we're linking them to the contacts. So we could see here, Curtis, he spoke to Kevin about accounts. Well, what accounts, right? Curtis, we need some more detail. How about a category? Let's put this into an appropriate category here, so that way we can make sure that our notes tab stays organized. So I'm sure Curtis was just in a hurry during a training session, which explains his lack of detail. But again, this page here can help you to monitor, what notes are coming into your database. Are they detailed enough? Are they categorized appropriately? Are there notes coming into the database? Because that's always an important thing too, right? Making sure that notes make their way into Redtail, because if it's not Redtail, it never happened. And then again, on the right side here, I think this could be fun for a little bit of gamification. We can challenge users in our database to be constantly entering their notes, and we could even use this as a score tracker, right? Little friendly competition about who can enter in, the most notes into Redtail and be, in the habit of making sure that they're putting in their contact interactions into the CRM. So again, you can see here, I'm blowing away the competition, but hopefully in your database, it's a little more balanced. And again, you can have some fun with that dashboard there. And then the final one we'll cover today is just the Opportunities tab. And again, the Opportunities tab helps us to stay up to date with our opportunities. So it shows us opportunities happening in the next 30, 60, or 90 days. And then of course, if we need to do something about that, it's like, for example, here, Joe, we got to call to set up a meeting tomorrow. If I need to access that, I can just click this hyperlink here, and it's going to take me right into Joe's opportunity. So if you use the opportunities tracker in Redtail, if you're using opportunities and tracking your business using opportunities, a fun way to kind of keep tabs on it is on the Today page, and that's under the Opportunities tab.
Thanks so much for joining us today for this particular session. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call at 800-206-5030, option 3 for support, or just shoot us an email over to support@redtailtechnology.com. Thanks a lot and have a great day.